What's up, SC Nation? Ramsey here. Last week, while I was doing research for the podcast that had coming out, which was about negotiating a salary, I noticed that there was one key word that was coming up a lot, and it seems that it's being asked a lot, and that was how to negotiate a salary via email. So I figured I'll answer that question even though nobody asked me. So how do we negotiate through email? Well, the best answer is don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't ever negotiate through email. If the job is important enough for you to negotiate a salary, don't do it through email. Nothing good can come of that. If you're trying to negotiate a dining room set off of Craigslist or in Canada, Kijiji, by all means, send emails all you want. But when it comes to a life-altering decision, for example, taking a job or not, it is not a good idea to negotiate through email, and I'll share why. One, it takes forever. If you've ever been in sales, you know that the thing that you need to do the fastest is to close. I'm not talking about the ABC of sales, like always be closing. I'm talking about once you come to a mutual decision that someone's going to buy, you do your best to close as soon as possible because they might lose budget, they might have a freeze. It happened to me where the company was bought by another company and now they stopped buying anything. So it is always good to close earlier. And if you do it through email, it just takes forever. There's a lot of back and forth. You send an email, you wait, they respond back a day later maybe, and then you read the email. It takes you a little bit of time to formulate a response if you saw it right away, and then you email back. And that just, it's not very productive. Number two, it's not good for your mental sanity. Like, we spend our time waiting for a response is never good. It's like watching paint dry. All this time in between responses, and the fact of the matter is that you don't know what the other person is thinking. They might be okay with it, they might not be okay with it. And the biggest killer in sales or in negotiation in general is silence. That's why experienced negotiators, they don't say a word after they put in their offer. They just wait for the other person to respond. So number three is things get lost in translation. And I hope that's not a secret, that when you send an email or a text, you're losing a lot of information in terms of tone and body language. And tone can indicate a lot of information even on the phone. You can tell if the person's sad, he's happy, he's surprised, and all of that stuff. Whereas via email, it's all gone. That's the whole reason why emojis exist. At least that's my opinion of why they exist. To add some emotion, add a tone to the conversations through email and text. Because the only thing you can tell in a text is if someone's yelling, and that's if they have all caps on everything. And they might not even be yelling, they just forgot to take off the caps lock and, well, they didn't see it, I guess, I don't know. Email is not the best way to negotiate. By the way, I hate emojis for the sole reason is that they made Professor X into a poop. And I don't think I should give you more reason than that. So how should you negotiate? Well, the best way to negotiate, obviously, is in person, face-to-face with someone across the table or beside each other. That is the best way to negotiate because you have the body language, you have the tone. There isn't that gap, that silence, unless it's intentional, which means you're dealing with a good negotiator. But I realize that is hard to do, especially when you're in different locations. Sometimes a phone call is all that manager can afford. Oh, by the way, if the manager is too busy not to take a call from you or not to, if they want to negotiate through email, that's a red flag because that means they're not valuing you enough to spend time to negotiate with you. If they don't have enough time to negotiate with you before they get you on the job, what are they going to do after you get the job? That's just food for thought. Keep in mind that if you do the interview well, the negotiation, there's not going to be a lot of negotiation. It's going to be minimal because you already proved your value during the interview. You showed them that you want to work there and they showed you that they want you to be there. And generally speaking, for jobs, people will do whatever they can to actually agree. But if there is negotiation, if someone gave you a verbal offer that's lower than what you're expecting and you ask for more, they can always say like, yes, we could do that, or let me look into that and see, let me talk to HR or my manager or whoever it is to get you that, or no, I can't do that. In either way, you're not, in either case, in like those 3 different cases, 4 different cases, you're not waiting for a response. You know they're working on it, or they just said no, or they said yes. These are the 3 options, really. If you want more details on what you can do before the negotiation starts, during the interview, to set yourself up for a good negotiation, check out wetheSalesEngineers.com/show76, or click on the info box somewhere around here to go to that YouTube version of that podcast. But as a quick summary for what you need for a negotiation is, you need a walkaway number, you need a nice to have number. And the walkaway number, as the name may suggest, you just walk away if they don't meet at least that number. And you need to figure out how much you want that job. If you're desperate for that job, if you're in a crappy situation and you just want to get out, or you just want to break into sales engineering and you're willing to take any number, you don't really have a lot of power to negotiate. You still could, but you don't have, like, your confidence in your negotiation will become less because you can't actually walk away. And that's the biggest power when you're in a negotiation. If you are desperate for a job, there is some room for a negotiation, but always in the back of your mind, there is that thing like, no, I really, really want to work here, or I really, really want to leave my job. Right? These are things that you need to think about before you start negotiating for your current position. Another thing you need to know is to hit that like button. Actually, that never helped anyone with their job, so hit the like button anyways. What you actually need to know is your value in the market. You can check out Glassdoor, LinkedIn Prime, whatever there it's available. You can talk to your friends. I like to do that, although not everybody wants to share how much they make. But there are some resources out there so you can figure out what your salary range should be. So when you ask for a salary, you're not outrageously higher, and you're definitely not lower. Even if you're desperate for a new job, I don't think you should open with a lower number. Again, check out the podcast. I discuss how to do that there. You also need to prove your value during the interview, and I already mentioned that, but you're selling yourself in the end. That is, people tell us to be humble, tell us to not show off, not brag, but this is the one spot where you're allowed to do that. There are methods to do it and not sound cocky. You can be humble doing it, but this is the spot to sell yourself as a sales engineer, or even if you're doing something completely different. That is the spot to sell yourself. So do me a favor, never negotiate anything important in your life over email. If someone doesn't have the time to negotiate with you in person or over the phone, then it's not important enough to be negotiated at all. So in that case, just walk away, especially if it's a job. If like it's a house, put in your offer and walk away. If it's a job and no one wants to negotiate with you in person, don't even apply. Just walk away, because it's already proven not to be a good environment to work in. Good luck with all of your negotiations. I know a lot of people are looking for jobs, so hopefully this helps. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. If you like what I'm providing here, you find the information valuable, hit the like button, share it, subscribe, do all these beautiful, amazing things, and I'll catch you next time.